One of the things that Fede wanted to do when he came aboard EvilDead is he wanted to do the prosthetic gags, the arm chops off, the eye gouges. He wanted to do those practically on set using old-fashioned makeup appliances like we did on EvilDead, and kind of a throwback to a different era. And I instantly respected that.
This is such a visceral and simple story in a way, right? And the way that it's grounded in there are 5 guys in a cabin, there's some beauty about that and something that everybody understands right away. It's just 5 people in the cabin. And that's so simple that I guess I didn't want to bring any CGI to the stories. It was something that we knew they wanted to do since the get-go in this movie, that he wanted to do everything practical, you know. We didn't want to do any CG thing to get a gory and scary moment. So in every big horror set piece and very painful moment, everything is practical because nothing beats, you know, practical. That was a great thing because in the beginning when I said, this is the way we're going to do it, they were all like, what? How are we going to do that?
Well, initially when I initially heard about the job, I got a bit of a breakdown on, what do you think about this? So there was all these little beats of, you know, she gets her arm chopped off, you know, she blows him away with the shotgun, and I sort of got an idea of the size of it, which is great because I think it harks back to what the initial EvilDead was all about, and that's what we wanted to bring into it. So the transitions that each of the characters has to go through is built on makeup effects, basically. So, and different rigs, people cut their arms off, there's a blood, gore factor.
We wanted to keep it realistic also and grounded, so whatever they have in their faces, and it all comes from something that they did to themselves. So that's why the first stage on the possession for each one of them is kind of some kind of self-mutilation moment. Oliva's gonna carve her face off. Mia burned herself with boiling water. They all do something that's the result of why they look creepy. And the eyes is the only element that comes from hell, I guess, because it's the only thing that really changed in a supernatural way. But the rest is just like real wounds they inflict to themselves. Stop!
Well, from the very beginning, Fede has always said he wants this to feel real. Yes, we're creating a supernatural tale, but we want for the audience, in order for them to be scared, it needs to feel real to them. That's been kind of our approach for all these set pieces, is how much can we capture in camera, how much can we use prosthetics on the actors to create the blood gags or the makeup effects. When you have it in camera, you know you've got it.
We're trying to keep it as realistic and sort of as contained as possible, which brings up a lot of, you know, there's a lot of variables when we're shooting. So a lot of that's got to do with how we shoot it, how we light it, how the rigs are made, and we've had to make a lot of individual rigs just for specific shots.
I'm very proud of a couple of things on that side. One is when Natalie cut her arm off, like we find a very creative way to do it, all practical and prosthetics. So in the script, if somebody's standing there, grabs a kitchen knife, her arm is here and she goes for it and starts cutting it right in front of you with no cuts. There's just one long take that goes. And usually in a normal movie, it will cut away, you will do some camera trick. And we knew we didn't want to do it that way. And we want to go just one shot, long shot, see the real arm there and see how she goes for it. So, and that's the shot I got in the movie, and I think it's one of the best shots in the movie is when she really cut her arm off out of nowhere. She put the knife on her arm, and it's just disturbing.
Fuck you! Stop it!
Initially, we started with the idea that we'd, you know, explore what we could do with a silicone arm and actually joining up two people and trying to get the performance out of Elizabeth and conjoined basically with an arm to her double who's got the infected arm on. So the idea here is so that we can get as much of the blood and all the gore and the cutting and everything in camera and on their clothes and all over her arm and the effect and all the rest of it and all the sort of sensation as much as possible in the rig. We've got 5 different arm prosthetics for her. We've got one where her arm drops off, and then we've also got ones which are pieces that we're going to be helped with visual effects to show that she hasn't got an arm after she's cut it off. So, yeah, Elizabeth goes through it all. And then also her arm gets infected in 5 different stages. She gets her arm blown off, so we've made fake arms. Yeah, she has a lot going on.
David?
The prosthetics and the rigs and everything are just kind of mind-blowingly amazing. I love that Fede is trying to do everything here with prosthetics and with the rigs and not with CGI. It just makes it so much, I mean, for us, it makes it so much easier from an acting point of view when you're actually like chopping off an arm rather than just pretending with no blade and all that stuff. I mean, it's cool. And there's been blood everywhere and vomit everywhere, and it's just, it adds so much, I think, because it's not this CGI sort of blood splatter and you're like, oh, it's fake. It just gives it such a rawness on screen that's really cool to see.
Like, I love that Fede in no way is relying on CGI. There's a lot of like old school movie tricks that Fede uses, and I love it.
We bring a team of choreographers in to help them to find interesting movement.
The Dead Eye is just like, you see, half of them is the person suffering, trying to avoid doing whatever they're forcing them to do, and half of them is a demon that is controlled. So at the end, it's full demon.
We're trying to come up with abnormal movement, something that you look at it, and sometimes they're very simple and they're very small, but it's just a movement of the head, an eye doing something like a little twitch, but it's so powerful on camera, and also it helps to keep it on a more realistic level, I guess, and that's really what turns them into such horrific creatures. You know, like you see something that you don't understand why they're behaving like that, why they're doing that, and that's what takes them to another level, I guess. You see in the movie, it's really real stuff coming out from her mouth. It's really Jane's mouth. It's real stuff is going there, and so it was pretty violent for them too, because we put the actor through all those tubes and stuff, and yeah, it's pretty tricky.
That, the throwing up on Olivia was my least favorite thing I've done in my life, I think. I hated doing that. And it made me cry, actually. Like, after I did it, I walked off and I just felt like I was going to hell for real because I had done something so horrible.
What happened to you?
I can't even tell you what that feels like. Just watch Jessica, like, almost drowned is, like, the scariest thing in the world. Are you okay?
So how you felt?
I don't know.
It's a very intense process for them. But they get to experience a lot of things that in a regular movie they wouldn't. So I think that's why I also like it. That's why I think it's a lot of fun for them too, right? It's a lot of pain, but it's a lot of fun.
I've never had to do a head cast, and I actually was quite apprehensive going in because I hear that people who are claustrophobic can be pretty intense, and it was kind of freaky though. I mean, you get covered in this goop, and there's just a tiny little air hole for your nose, and it's about a 45-minute process altogether, and then they kind of crack it and take it off, and you're left with this mold of your entire head.
Cool.
We took a full head impression of her so that we could take different aspects of her face and break them out, snap them out as we call them, and actually make formers so that we could do the sculpting for the prosthetics. For Jessica, the main component of the prosthetic was getting her to cut her face off and make it convincing so it wasn't wasn't too much like a mask.
Are you okay?
Oh my god! How did you do that?
The fact that we just get to get in there and just be covered in blood and have these prosthetics and go crazy and these great stunts as well.
And we're set.
And I think that the more that you can actually physically do things, the better it is.
Buck, did I actually get you? No, but it felt like you did. Sorry. I thought I stabbed him for real.
I really would have hated if all the blood or all, cutting someone's arm off and everything, if that was all CGI, it would have taken so much out of it for me to watch, not even to just act. The acting is easier, and I think it's more disgusting to watch. There's just something that you can get from a texture that you can't get from CGI, from a real texture of something rubber or flesh-like that you can't get from CGI.
Can we have that blood standing by here, right next to me?
Oh yeah, I gotta kill Olivia tomorrow. What a day. I gotta kill her tomorrow, and I gotta kill her on Monday. It's terrible.
For me, all the word of the pose and the effects, it's just like a magician is gonna do a trick. So you shouldn't know if we're gonna use effects or not. Like, you have to watch the movie, forget about that, and the good effects are the ones that you never see